In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we're expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at advertise@k98talk.org. K98talk.com, a leader in internet radio. So grab your seatbelts and take the ride of your life on K98talk.com.
Intergalactic planetary.
Welcome to the podcast you've always wanted. It's The Right Angle with Bill and Leslie.
Now, good evening, everybody. Welcome to The Right Angle with Bill and Leslie. I'm Leslie. He's Bill. Hi, Billy.
Hey.
Yes. Later tonight, we're talking about some sketchy video shenanigans in the Israel-Palestinian conflict. But first, we have breaking news out of New York City, and I'm turning it over now to Bill O'Keefe on location. Bill?
I have a ticket to see Star Wars Episode 7, and
what?
It's on advanced screening.
What?
I do.
Wait, when?
On the for the advanced screening of the movie. I have a ticket. I managed to get one.
Which is what date?
17th.
Oh my God.
So cool.
Breaking. Bill, can you please explain to the listeners how unbelievably cool this is based on the breaking of the internet last night?
Yeah, apparently last night when the tickets, and this is the first time that I'm aware of such a thing happening, the website Fandango and tickets.com put pre-orders up for tickets to buy for December for Star Wars Episode 7, and the websites for both companies crashed within 2.5 minutes. And according to somebody that I know who knows about these types of things at Fandango, maybe somebody who works for their app store app,
Oh my.
told me that they had like 14 million people hitting the site repeatedly for like 11 hours last night.
Yeah. Now, Billy, I need to stop right now because I want to give the listeners some perspective that I know you have. You're very familiar with the launch of like Apple iPhone devices. What's like your typical traffic on Apple, like on the night that they make an iPhone available?
800,000, I would say.
And
800.
yeah, and
between 800,000 and, well, it's somewhere, I would say it's somewhere between 500,000 and 2 million. I'm not exactly sure where the numbers exactly fall on that, but it's not more than 2 million or so.
Okay. And Fandango last night was what?
I think that what I was told was 14.25 million people over 11 hours.
Yeah.
Now that's not all at once. It's spread out over the course
right,
of
11
hours. That's still, I mean, if you even half that number, that's still the population of New York City.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the other thing, I think. What did you say that like in the first hour or so, you saw that across all ticket sites, there were like 45 million people trying to buy tickets?
Yeah, across every ticket website. I think I saw it on I don't remember the Hollywood site I saw it. It wasn't maybe it was Deadlist. But they said they made a claim, and I'm not exactly sure how accurate it may or may not be, but I'm repeating it just because I believe it. And they said that close to 45 million people worldwide hit ticket sites all over the world when the site.
And I'm having you repeat it just because I want to believe it.
Yeah, and that's sort of where I'm at this point too. I mean,
so 45 million people is roughly 15, maybe 12% of the entire population of the United States of America.
Even if it's just 10%, that's a lot.
Unbelievable.
That's a lot. And I had a friend of mine today said to me, I don't understand what the enthusiasm is about. I go, it's a fucking Star Wars movie.
It's Star Wars.
Star Wars. Are you kidding?
And so this is so cute because we did after
Star
we had
Wars
our
bigger than Jesus.
Our episode following the second Star Wars trailer was much like this, except I was much more enthusiastic about that trailer than I am tonight, which we'll get into. But at the intro to that episode, we're both sitting here going, "It's Star Wars! It's Star Wars! It's fucking Star Wars!" I'm glad you're still doing it, and I am. I still have the love too, but I am more tempered, and we'll get into that shortly. But anyway, so among these 45 million people,
I managed to snag a seat in row L all the way over in the right on the front, in one of the front like 6 rows of the theater, all the way in the right by the exit.
Good. So that's the best news of all to me, dude. Because if you see Jar Jar Binks show up, you can just freaking hightail it out of there.
Well, yeah. I hope nobody does show up in a Jar Jar Binks costume. I think people might be tempted to kill them.
I mean, on screen.
Oh no.
I don't think JJ's that dumb.
No. As a matter of fact, if you watch the Comic-Con footage, they released a bunch of Comic-Con footage this year at Comic-Con in New York, and it looks good because he's using real sets, and he said that his goal for the movie And it's so funny because it's almost like a stab at Lucas. And he was like, I want everything in this movie to have some level of physicality to it. Like, I want everything
I
to be
saw it.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I showed that to you. Today, I think I showed that to you.
No,
but
we'll get back to it.
But he, when they were discussing how they were going to do this movie, he was talking to the prop guys, and this really funny story that they told at Comic-Con last year, I think. And he was like, he goes, okay, guys, I want you to build me a Millennium Falcon. And so, like, they went out to, like, a comic book store, a hobby shop, and they built a Millennium Falcon, like, a model kit. And he was like, yeah, that's great. We can use that as a miniature. And they're like, what's a miniature? And he's like, you do, like, slow motion.
What's a miniature?
And they were like, what?
You stupid brat.
Like, yeah, I don't think this is working. Like, I have to get a new prop guy. And, like, he literally went on Craigslist or something and on, like, Mandy.com and different, like, film sites. And he was like, need prop guy.
Ashley Madison?
No, not Ashley Madison.
Okay. Oh.
You got the first guy from. But no, so he actually in one of the requirements was that you had to know who Ray Harryhausen was.
Okay, I think we're getting a little too in depth. Save it.
Okay, but so the point is that he said to the guy, he goes, I want you to build me a Millennium Falcon. And the guy goes, life size or scale or what? And he's like, I want a life size one. And he's like, yeah, I can do that. The new guy was like, yeah, I can do that.
Fabulous.
6 guys, I can get that done in about 2 weeks.
Yeah. And so this is the first thing you shared with me several months ago that gave me, a new hope, no pun intended, about this thing. The fact that JJ was going to be working in practical sets, just trying to have a practical feel, because we know, our one of the many biggest issues with the prequel trilogy that we all blocked out was that it was just gross that everything was CGI and you could tell, and it just didn't feel good. It didn't feel real, and it didn't feel like Star Wars. And actually, my first comment I was going to make regarding my impression of this trailer was that this one didn't thrill me as much as the second trailer. And I can't say exactly why, although I've evolved as to why, which I'll bring up later because it's a huge spoiler that I don't know if you want me to share with you or on the show. But is
it a spoiler about the movie?
Oh yeah. But this third trailer didn't turn me on about the movie as much as my Googling later on to find, and I found, I think, one of the Comic-Con reels or some other behind the scenes that went into a little more in depth for a few minutes.
Okay, so you know about Thorn?
About the practical effects. And about let me finish. About the practical costumes, like the old days, the practical sets, the practical effects. And I'm watching the young girl who's the star, being whipped around in the set of the bridge of the Millennium. And I'm like, okay, this turns me on. This now I'm feeling it.
So what's the spoiler?
No, what were you saying first?
I was asking you, what's the spoiler?
You're saying so you know about what?
So you know about Thorn, then? That's what you're saying?
Who's Thorn?
Okay, then you don't know anything, then. They revealed the name of the big bad guy in the movie. Online.
I thought the big bad guy is Andy Serkis' character, ultimately.
No.
Okay, no, that's not the spoiler I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, then that was the huge one. That's not his real name, by the way. That's the
okay.
Internet friendly name they use for him.
All right. Do you want me to start about the spoiler that I read?
Go for it.
That I'm not happy about at all.
I'm okay with that. Go for it.
Okay. So what I read, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you why my co-host irritates the shit out of me, because I didn't want to watch this trailer last night. I wasn't watching Monday Night Football. I was going to wait until this morning to watch the trailer because I wanted to go to sleep. And I'm getting texts from my co-host saying, you have to watch it now. No, it's awesome. You got to watch it now. Just watch it now and text me back. Just watch it now. Just watch it now. So like an idiot, I watched it. And I ended up staying up until 2:30 in the morning, Googling behind the scenes, Googling trailers, Googling the actors, and starting to watch clips from the frickin' Rebels animated series.
I told you not to do that.
Thanks, asshole. Thank you. Thank you.
Warned you I did.
You didn't warn shit. Anyway, all right. This is what's bothering me. The spoiler that I read that seems to 80% fit with this last trailer is, and I'll try to make it short, that they're going to give you like the backstory, like they're basically going to narrate the backstory the same way they did with the Lord of the Rings, and how a year after the battle of Endor, there was this other big battle outside that other planet. What's the desert planet called? The new one. Jatun. So there's a big
Jatun or something like that.
So like the remnants of the Empire attack the remnants of the Rebel fleet that happens to be flying by there in a convoy. Huge casualties all around. Leia's had the baby, so Han and Leia are on a ship. They get separated. Luke is commanding the Rebel fleet, and it's like a big devastating loss for the Rebels. And Han and Chewbacca and the son as a baby get captured, and they're on one Star Destroyer, and Leia and the daughter get captured and they're on another Star Destroyer, and that Star Destroyer that they're on crashes, gets damaged or whatever, crashes on that planet. Leia dies, and we obviously know that's not true. Leia dies, and she makes the Grand Moff, who is Max von Sydow, like she makes him promise to take care of the daughter. Han and Chewbacca are freaking imprisoned for 30 years. And obviously it's not 30 years because all these assholes are 20 years old, but they get imprisoned. The son gets, brought up in the Empire with the legend of Darth Vader and the Empire and Emperor and all that shit. So they're basically make this colony, this stranded colony on this planet. What's the planet called?
Jatun, I think.
Jatun or whatever. And that's why they don't know it. Like, that's why they don't know anything about the history, because Max von Sydow becomes like the governor of the colony. He's pissed about the Empire because the Empire basically abandoned him and all the crashed ships there. And the Empire is now called the First Order, which is, stupid. So meanwhile, they're all there for 30 years, and he's raising the daughter, right? Rey? What's her name? Ren?
Yeah, something like that. Oh no, Kylo Ren is the guy.
What's the daughter's name?
I don't remember.
All right.
Well, I don't know that's the daughter.
Rick, it's not Tatooine. Get out of the 80s. We're talking about the new trilogy. Just so you know. So meanwhile, the son is being raised basically by executives of the Empire, like teaching himself the lore. And so he's like, and I think somebody told him that he's Darth Vader's grandson. And so he's like basically takes it upon himself to pick up Darth Vader's legacy, because they're telling him that like the Empire are the victims and that these asshole rebels usurped like paradise. And then, so the movie keeps going. The daughter We got to figure out the daughter's name because I sound like an idiot just calling her the daughter. The daughter, like, somehow magically unearths the Millennium Falcon, and if she's of course handy like ship repair expert in her free time, so she unearths the Millennium Falcon. So then you got the stormtrooper, the black stormtrooper. What's his name? Right. So there's a whole other storyline where he has a crisis of conscience because he's seeing Kylo Ren start to like abuse people and execute people, and he's like, wait a minute, I don't like this. So then he escapes, like he makes a big riot on the I'm gonna blow your whole Star Wars experience here. So he's making a big riot on the Star Destroyer, which of course happens to be the Star Destroyer that Han and Chewie are on. And so he escapes, Han and Chewie escape separately. And of course, they all go down on this planet because that's where everybody is. And so he runs into the daughter, and Han and Chewie happen to run into the Millennium Falcon, and all of this sounds ridiculous. But if you look at the second trailer, and he's like, Chewie, we're home. Blowing your mind, aren't I?
What's that?
I'm blowing your mind, aren't I?
No. I actually have a totally different, less extravagant theory.
All right, well, I'll finish this one up quickly. So they all, meet up and shit. And that's why she's like, well, the stories. Oh, I've heard the stories. Well, she would never know because she's grown up on this, like, isolated friggin' wasteland that nobody talks about anything. That's why she wouldn't know anything.
Okay.
And then he's like, it's all true. So then Max von Sydow basically finally gives up the truth and gives up the real information to everybody. And then they go off looking for Luke. And then I don't really believe what they're talking about after that anyway.
What I think is the more likely theory that I've heard, that I've read, is that Luke Skywalker starts to go insane and he becomes tempted by the dark side and he goes looking for his father's body, and he finds out that what's-his-face has his father's, head,
mask,
or whatever. Yeah. I think that you're going to find, I think you're going to find that the Luke Skywalker of this movie is going to be pretty fucked up. I think he's going to be pretty close to the edge of insanity.
I've heard that a ton as well, but that also fits into this spoiler that I heard, because some people are saying, like, basically everything I've heard is that they're like, Luke's kind of goes out of his mind because one is saying because he's so powerful with the Force and there's like nobody else to kind of help him, like, be cool with it, and he isolates himself because he's afraid of his own power.
Correct.
But in this spoiler that I'm talking about, they're saying that because he was commanding the Rebel fleet and it was such a horrible disaster, and he lost Leia, he lost Han, he lost everything, that he was just devastated and went to be a hermit. But again, whatever reason that he went off and he's by himself, what this spoiler that I heard is like so Han, Chewie, the girl, and the stormtrooper go off looking for him.
I think that the story that we're first off, the Empire is called the Empire. The New Order thing that you were talking about.
First Order.
Yeah, First Order. They're a rebuilt. They're a rebuilt Sith Order. It's the Sith Order rebuilt. And
all right.
Or so we've been led to believe. It seems to me, I would think that if you were the Empire and your entire control of a universe hinged on one guy, Palpatine, and his brutality and his sociopathy and his just utter disdain for human life, I think if somebody were to throw him down a fucking hole and kill him, I think the Empire would kind of scramble to tell various types of stories about what really happened. And I think that's why you get the stories are true kind of thing. And I remember you mentioned to me yesterday or last night or today, I don't remember when, but you had mentioned something like, oh, it's been 30 years and they don't remember, blah, blah, blah. Well, I mean, if you really go back to the first Star Wars movie, right? Like, the Jedi have been fucking extinct for like 10 years when that first movie came out.
Yeah.
15 at tops. And that guy's like on the Death Star talking to Vader, and he's like, "Don't
Talking
scare
shit to
the
Vader.
sorcerer's ways. You and your sad devotion to that ancient religion, dude. What's ancient about it? Like, they've only been dead for 10 years. Like, nobody knows if Vader's a Sith
No,
Lord.
let me tell you something. It's funny you say this because there was a guy on Twitter last night because your ass made me get interested in this at 1 a.m. There's a guy on Twitter that laid out actually a great argument of why the general people in the Republic or the Empire don't believe shit. They believe in the Force like they believe in Jedis, like they believe in UFOs. They don't know what happened. Nobody knows what happened. Who knows Vader? Vader, you told me yourself Vader hid his power and the Emperor hid his power. Nobody ever saw it.
Well, they did. Yes, they did to an extent. But Vader did have moments where it was wielded.
Yeah, where he picked up a guy and choked him and threw him against the wall.
Now, by the way, I hesitate to mention, though, that they released a book called Star Wars Aftermath. It's by a guy named Chuck Wendig. It's an authorized book, and it's actually supposed to fill some of the gaps between Episode 6 and Episode 7. And so that's where I got the First Order story from. That's it's mentioned in there that the First Order is
You know what? If Disney doesn't believe it, I don't believe it.
Well, Disney authorized the printing of the book.
Okay, just saying.
Yeah.
Because one of the other things I learned last night, because some bastard co-host made me watch
This is the worst movie I've ever seen. Let me spend analyzing it for you.
Some bastard co-host made me watch the trailer and then stay up for 3 more hours looking at more information. One thing I learned last night is that everything that, the geeks call canon, everything about what the geeks call the expanded universe that was considered to be part of this information and history of Star Wars, Disney's like, nope, doesn't exist anymore.
Well, they've done that. Yes, that's true to a point. What they have done, Disney, is they've instituted what they call a canon freeze. And a canon freeze and then a reset. And what they've basically done is they've decided to go back through the mess that George Lucas had sort of allowed himself to create. And they basically reset the sandbox with new sand. And they said, okay, so from here on in, it's the 6 movies plus 7 plus whatever books we authorize from here on out.
And Clone Wars and Rebels, and the animated series Clone Wars and Rebels.
Correct. But you and I have talked about the different types of canon A, canon B, canon C. We won't really go into that too much. But one of George Lucas's greatest strengths and one of his greatest failures ultimately was his allowance of people to use his universe that he created, and his willingness to adopt it as official story. And so there are a lot of things that he either didn't read or someone else read and gave him the gist of, and really weird stuff. I mean,
Like
really,
Obama.
Space Obama.
It's like the Oval Office.
It's because they weren't paying taxes to Space Obama.
It's an inside joke, ladies and gentlemen.
No, but so and anybody who's read any of the books, probably the only person is probably Tim who's listening. Is the Yuzong Vong invasion. That was like a series of like 6 books that Lucas authorized to create, saying that like aliens from another dimension invaded the universe of Star Wars and planned to kill everything, including the Empire, and so the Empire and the Rebels teamed up. And Lucas, for whatever bizarre reason, authorized that as canon, and so now for a long time, it had to be referred to if you plan to use very specific, dates in the Star Wars universe. You had to remember those events. I don't know. So my point is
whatever
why they did it, and also money.
No, I don't blame. Nobody does genocide like Disney. I don't even know what that means. But I don't know what that means, but.
Walt Disney has hated the Jews since 1934.
Just do Mickey Mouse. May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
Okay. And on that, we're going to take a break. We will be right back on The Right Angle.
The internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa. Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get sad again.
Wake up, America.
The biggest threat in those days were from factions seizing control of the governing apparatus and making decisions that were in their interests. Today, we call factions political parties. George Washington himself warned the nation about the dangers of factions in his farewell address.
Office hours with Dr. A, 3 p.m. on Sundays, K98 Talk. We've got something to say to you, America.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members or their families, asking them to put themselves in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep them secure for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
And we're back on The Right Angle with Bill and Leslie. So we discussed how excited we are about the next Star Wars movie, in part because there are some practical video effects. They're actually filming live from the desert, and we're excited about that video editing. But ironically, there's some other funky video editing shenanigans in the desert that are newsworthy this week. Bill?
So I would preface this by saying, what should you never bring to a gunfight?
Not a gun?
Yeah. You should never bring a knife to a gunfight, ever.
Yeah.
No matter what anybody tells you. Never, ever bring a knife to a gunfight. Well, a 16, 15, 17-year-old Palestinian girl. I say 3 different ages because apparently the people who work with her aren't even sure how old she is, and I guess they don't have birth certificates because Palestine or something. And she tried to get past an Israeli checkpoint with a knife in her bag. As the script always goes, they found the knife. Allahu Akbar. She ran at them. They blew her the fuck away. So, okay, all said and done, right? No, wrong. They released a picture of her laying dead on the ground. She's wearing a black whatever and
outfit.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know what the hell they call these things. It's like a religious whatever. It's not a burqa, but it's something else.
Hijab.
Yeah, okay, whatever. That thing. So
the head covering. The head covering.
But she's got she looks like a fucking like an Amish woman or something. She's got like a dress on. I don't know.
It's just your clothes. It's her clothes.
Jeez. They dress like that by choice?
Continue.
Never mind. So she's got this teal thing on over her head, and she's got a black dress on or whatever, and the knife is laying on the ground. And so a doctor, literally a doctor of physics at a university in Egypt who apparently lives in Palestine now, or commutes? I don't know. Camels are apparently faster than I thought. So he is saying, oh, well, they shot this poor innocent girl dead. She had nothing on her, yada, yada, yada. And so he posted a couple of pictures, which were a screen cap from a video of this girl confronting the IDF people and them shooting her in cold blood.
IDF, Israeli Defense Forces?
Is that what that stands for?
I'm asking you.
I actually don't know. I don't know. I think that's what it stands for.
Close enough. Okay.
I just call them the Israeli Army. So
Okay.
They have these 3 pictures of her being confronted by the army, and then the 4th one is just her dead on the ground. Well, the only problem is the 3 pictures of her a different person. The girl in the first 3 pictures are wearing all black. The girl in the last photo,
in the dead photo,
correct, is wearing a teal hijab and a black dress. The other girl had on like a blue dress and a black hijab.
Mm-hmm.
So I pointed that out to him, and he said, well, I have the video. And I said, well, can I see it? I'd like to see it. I mean, you saying these people killed this girl cold blood. I'd love to see the video.
You're talking to this Egyptian doctor who lives in the Palestinian area.
Correct.
Okay.
He has 30,000 followers, by the way, and he's a friend of hers in real life, but he doesn't know how old she is.
Okay.
Which is probably very convenient if you're a Muslim. I didn't know she was under 18.
I see what you did there.
It's probably
too soon.
very
Billy,
convenient.
too soon. Too soon.
It's probably just his first instinct.
Too soon. Stop.
But he was lying down instead of lying up on the age. I don't know.
Stop it. It's too soon. Hurry up with this story.
So he says, I have a video and I can prove it, yada, yada, yada. So I watched the video and I said, well, first off, that video isn't even shot in the same place because first off, she's on a corner in the video, and in the picture, she's clearly against a really long wall with a city behind the wall. In the other picture, she's actually in a city, and there's no wall, just a bunch of trucks. And I'm like, it's a different video. It's a different place. And he's like, oh, no, my friend, it isn't. And I said, yeah.
My friend.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. I hate that when they say that.
Well, that's what I told you.
I've never actually experienced that till the last few days. My friend.
My friend.
Leave me alone. I'm not your friend, buddy.
Let me tell you something, my friend. I do it all the time because it's just our thing. It's not a Muslim thing. It's our, Middle Eastern thing. I need to back up for 1 second because what you haven't told the listeners is that this has become kind of a big deal. The propaganda has become a big deal.
It's become a huge deal, and they're using it all over the place, and they're spreading it everywhere. And it's the IDF killed this poor little girl, and who unfortunately none of us know how old she is. So I'm looking at
and none of us know how she is in the poor little girl from what other evidence discerns, launched at an IDF officer with a knife.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I was showing it to a friend of mine, and I said, man, you're never going to believe the shit that these people think that people will get away with. Like this how stupid do these people think we are? And so he watched the video once, and he goes, oh, yeah, that's terribly edited. And I said, what do you mean it's edited? He goes, yeah, they used an L cut in the middle there. Because you can see where they join the two pieces of film together, but the transition is kind of shitty, and so the sound doesn't overlap quite correctly. It doesn't transition in right. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, it's a pretty vanilla edit. Anybody with Photoshop, anybody with an iMac can do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. And so he spent like 10 minutes, and he was like, yeah, he goes, here, look, see, he goes, see how it just sort of blips out like that? He goes, yeah, that's the cut. That's where they cut it. So that was kind of fascinating. I knew it was edited, but
it's just
weird.
Yeah.
So they actually did get video of this girl being killed, but it wasn't the moment of her death. They just kind of went out and videotaped her dead on the street someplace, wherever this was, and it was someplace in Hebron, I think, which is where a lot of this shit is going on.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of went out, and I guess they videotaped this dead girl on the street, and then they kind of tried to join it together with a video of another girl getting shot, who, may or may not have deserved it. I don't know, because you actually see what happens, because they the edit is so stupid and so duplicitous that you don't actually see. You actually don't see anything on either moment.
Right. And I think that's kind of the point. I think first of all, it's hilarious that like who's going to buy this? Like what audience was this originally produced for? That they would actually buy that these two obviously different women in two obviously different locations were the same woman to come to the same conclusion, which was that the IDF is brutal, or Israelis are brutal, or Jews are evil, or whatever conclusion. Like, can you not discern?
Jews are evil. This is one of the reasons.
Huh?
Kidding.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said Jews are evil, but this isn't one of the reasons.
Well, right. I mean, that's the premise of every podcast we do because, no Zion here. Of course, we're kidding. But the other thing
Only
is,
half kidding.
Huh?
Nothing.
Okay. But the other thing that struck me about this is that this is becoming an increasing phenomenon, I think, here in the U.S. and also globally, because to me, this sort of reeks of the clock boy situation and of that poor dead Syrian boy situation, that it's just one narrative. It's one unified media narrative that owns everything. They can plug anything into their narrative, and then that becomes world news. And the same situation, if you sort of flipped it to the reverse, nobody will ever hear of it. Black Lives Matter, same thing.
Correct. Which, by the way, they're trying to convince the Democratic National Committee that there should be a DNC debate devoted entirely to Black Lives Matter.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
I would love to see it.
Moderated by Sharpton.
Yes, please. Please, I would love that.
Popcorn.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Down for that. I would be down for that. Just real quick, not that I don't want to talk about any of these damn candidates, but please tell me you saw Saturday Night Live. The opening of Saturday Night Live, which I was forced to see.
I think we both know I don't watch Saturday Night Live.
Well, I didn't either, but I was forced to see it because I was with the family this weekend and it was on. But if naturally the opening segment was the spoof of the Democratic debate. And do you know who came in to play Bernie Sanders?
God.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't, but I can't wait.
Yes, you do.
No, I really don't.
Larry David.
Really?
Yes.
No fooling?
They brought no fooling, and they brought Alec Baldwin in to play Jim Webb. So
Ugh.
I never watch it either.
Jim Webb.
But I was forced to, and I'm like, Billy can't miss this. So go Google it because he was brilliant.
That was pretty fun. That's pretty funny though, Larry.
You got to go see it. It's absolutely brilliant. Okay, we're going to our break, and we will be right back to the future on The Right Angle.
This is JD.
And this is Stacy.
Join us Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern for Game On. Remember,
lock up the children and the old folks.
Game On, the home of liberty conservatism.
Where no one is safe and no one is spared, not even the hosts.
Oh, that was supposed to be a spin cycle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. We love you anyway. Right round, baby.
Self-monitoring
right
Ebola
anyway.
radio strikes again.
Anyway.
Anybody see the host monkey? Where's the host monkey? Where's the host monkey? For God's sake, I need an antidote. Just do your rant. Let's pop out of the segment.
Has to do with
Find us on Twitter at JD and Stacy.
You're listening to K98Talk.com.
According to me and Bunny, their show's not big. It's huge!
Mr. Trump, what are your thoughts on how should we go about making sure we can protect innocent life in this country?
We're going to be looking at a lot of different things. And, a lot of people are saying that, and a lot of people are saying that bad things are happening out there. We're going to be looking at that and plenty of other things.
Donald, question right over here. What are you going to do as president in regards to Common Core? What actions are you going to take?
We're going to be looking at a lot of different things. And, a lot of people are saying that, and a lot of people are saying that bad things are happening out there. We're going to be looking at that and plenty of other things.
That is like he can say that for anything.
Yes! It's just insert issue.
A lot of things.
Donald, what are we going to do for lunch?
We're going to be looking at a lot of different things. And, a lot of people are saying that, and a lot of people are saying that bad things are happening out there. We're going to be looking at that and plenty of other things.
It's According to Me and Bunny, Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on K98 Talk.
Hey, we're back on The Right Angle with Bill and Leslie. Since we've been geeking out so much tonight with Star Wars, we would be remiss not to mention that tomorrow is a very special occasion for science-y, fiction-y movie fans, because tomorrow is 10/21/2015, which is the date in the future that Marty McFly traveled to in Back to the Future 2. However, we might have more breaking news here on The Right Angle. What's the story, Bill?
Police officer shot in the head in Manhattan and killed.
How long ago? Do you know?
4 minutes ago.
My goodness.
I know absolutely nothing about it.
My goodness.
So, yeah.
Well.
Anyway, Back to the Future.
Okay, well, God
What a
rest his
dismal
soul.
future we live in.
God be with him and his family, and let's hope that murderous motherfucker will be brought to justice very quickly. Go ahead, Bill.
So, I don't know. Back to the Future.
Okay, so it's weird because not much here looks like what it looked like when we were shown in the movie.
What a dismal future we live in.
Oh, shit. I blame the Democrats.
I want some of those self-lacing shoes, man. I know a lot of people want those like skateboards and stuff. I want the self-lacing shoes. I'm a late.
Self-lacing shoes. Yeah. What I wish, I mean, if they can expand upon that, I want a ladies, follow me here. I want a self-hooking bra.
Could have a self-unhooking one too. I can't.
If they can invent self-hooking bras, if they can invent self-lacing shoes, I want a damn self-hooking bra. And you know what? Well, Billy, you make the good point. You know why we're never going to get that? Frickin' patriarchy.
Think so?
Mm-hmm. Now, you know what I can imagine? What I'm surprised doesn't exist yet? The remote control unhooking bra. Like the dude's just like he just has it on his key fob with his car keys, and he's like boop boop.
Well,
Bill's pondering this. Bill's like, my God, this is brilliant.
I think if they can make eating britches, as the cable guy says.
Wait, so what else do they have going on that we don't? Well, I mean, we certainly don't have the freaking salad fuel tanks in our vehicles.
Oh, right. Forgot about that.
I wish. So that'd be nice. We're still combating fossil fuels, so to speak.
Well, we do what we can. I think it's kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm like
Stop reading about the cop and pay attention.
But I get paid for this stuff.
Well, you got 3 minutes, brother.
So Back to the Future. Boy, you know, I think I'm the only person that probably doesn't really give a fuck about those movies. I mean, sorry, not sorry. Like, I don't know why people have such a weird love for Michael J. Fox and all those like crappy movies that he did in the 80s. I never understood it. You want to talk about a real 80s movie, a real trilogy? Go watch fucking Return of the Jedi. Back to the Future. Come on. Really?
I'll tell you what. See, now I have to differ because I was more in that age cohort than you were. And when the first Back to the Future came out,
I wasn't even alive when the Star Wars movies fucking came out.
I'm talking about the other trilogy, darling. No, it did hit home with me, and it was something for us, and it was before your time. But I think the thing that made it compelling again was because of the time travel thing. So it's kind of weird for us who were teenagers at that time, and now it's like now literally a lot of us have kids who were teenagers, not me. We have kids who are teenagers, so it's you know, a real contemporary sort of evolution for us. And I think the one thing that came to fruition is the sort of pick your own soda fountain by Coca-Cola. I think that's the one goddamn invention that.
Oh, that's right.
I think, and this just came to me right
that.
now, dude. This just came to me right now.
I went to the movie theater today. I should have known that.
I think this is the one thing that actually survived. Like, I think we're going to get more out of Star Trek inventions than we're going to get out of Back to the Future.
I think Star Trek inventions were a lot more reasoned out. I think at the heart,
You
back,
think?
it's a comedy. You know,
Of course. No, of course.
but
Of course.
it is interesting because I have to say that I really like those pick your flavor.
Dude, this is our.
I'm
it's our
all about
legacy.
that. I'm all about that vanilla Coke or vanilla cherry Coke.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely.
Well,
I want to insist that you do your who knew, because we talked a lot. We don't have a lot of time tonight, but we talked a lot about previous generations, previous scholars predicting the future until now, and you had a couple of really nice who knews.
Oh,
can we do one real quick?
Yeah, I can do one really quickly.
Okay.
I always...
And now on the right angle, it's who knew.
I always thought that the Apple logo is an apple with a bite taken out of it. And I had always been told, and I had always heard, and I always believed that it was an homage to Alan Turing, who had helped break the German code during the war and then was arrested in Britain on charges of being gay, and then killed himself in his jail cell by taking a bite out of a Macintosh apple that had been injected with cyanide. I had always been told that story was the case. And last week I went to see Steve Jobs the movie, and at the very end of the movie he was talking to a journalist about Alan Turing, and the guy says to him, to Jobs, I always thought that the logo was an homage to Alan Turing. And so Jobs turned to him and smiled and said, no, but wouldn't it be really cool if people thought that was the reason for it? and I'm almost sure that conversation is where that rumor started.
Yeah. So this is actually an opposite. This is a bizarro who knew, because it's something that Billy always thought was a who knew, and it turned out to be debunked when he saw the Steve Jobs movie last week. And the reason that I and most of you lay people know anything about Alan Turing is because there is a movie about his life called The Imitation Game in 2014, very acclaimed, starring Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yup.
Yeah. All
Very
right.
good movie, by the way.
Okay. Anything else, Billy, before we get out of here?
When I went to see the Steve Jobs movie, one of the trailers they picked for the audience to watch was about a British transvestite. I don't know why they chose us to watch that.
I know why.
So do I. I just didn't want to say it.
Okay. Where can everybody find you, Billy?
Don't find me.
All right. And you can find me on Twitter at LA Dowd, and previously voiced work by me at The Snark Factors with Finger Malloy and Midnight Movie Cowboys. Special thanks, of course, to you all, our listeners, first of all, and to our Politainment and K98 Talk Network. Thanks to Jason DeWilkins for subbing in as our producer last week. And back in the producer's seat, as always, thank you, Ricky Robinson, the Grand Moff of K98Talk.com, and we will see you next week.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have